Okay, folks. Hopefully this is all recording well. Let me just check my microphone quality down here. Yes, Gucci, sweet. Alright, so today I'm going to be showing you reverse speech and maybe talk conceptually about what I believe it to be, what I believe it to be connected to, and maybe personally how it refers to me. The particular reverse speeches that I will be talking about. So I've got some tabs open here to help explain. So the first one is a one I discovered a little while ago, or a long time ago, to be honest, about a year or two. And this is just a random. I picked a selection of random words. They happen to be places, at least two of them, and I will show you exactly what it says. Venezuela and Yucatan, Maya. Okay, so if you heard what I said there, I said Venezuela wrong because it's Venezuela. But at the time I said Venezuela, so you have to account for that because I said it wrong at the time. And then I said Yucatan, which is another place in South America, and Maya, which again is a kind of culture that derives from South America. So what do we get? That's the queen that lives in heaven. You get I am the queen that lives in heaven. Let me try it again so it's a bit more clearer. Venezuela and Yucatan, Maya. That's the queen that lives in heaven. I am the queen that lives in heaven. So the Queen of Heaven in antiquity was a title given to a number of ancient sky goddesses worshipped throughout the ancient Mediterranean and the ancient Near East. Goddesses known to have been referred to by the title Inanna, Anat, Isis, and Astarte, and possibly Asherah by the prophet Jeremiah. In Greco-Roman times, Hera and Juno bore this title. Forms and content of worship varied. Inanna was a Sumerian goddess of love and war. Despite her association with mating and fertilities of humans and animals, Inanna was not a mother goddess and is rarely associated with childbirth. Inanna was also associated with rain and storms and with the planet Venus. This will come into things significantly. The Venus tablet of Amish... How do you even pronounce that? I don't want to pronounce it. Believed to have been compiled around the mid-17th century BCE, referred to to the planet Venus in this tablet as the bright queen of the sky, or bright queen of heaven. Although the title of Queen of Heaven was often applied to many different goddesses throughout antiquity, Inanna is one to whom the title is given the most number of times. In fact, Inanna's name is commonly derived from Nin Anna, which literally means Queen of Heaven, in ancient Sumerian. It comes from the words Nin, meaning lady, and An, meaning sky, so sky lady. Although the cuneiform sign for her name is not historically a ligature of the two. In several myths, Inanna is described as being the daughter of Nana, the ancient Sumerian god of the moon. In other texts, however, she is often described as being the daughter of either Enki or An. These difficulties have led some early Assyriologists to suggest that Inanna may have been originally a Proto-Euphratean goddess, possibly related to the Hurrian mother goddess Hana. Oh god, I've never even heard of Hana. That's cool. I'm gonna check that out. Accepted only latterly, into the Sumerian pantheon, an idea supported by her youthfulness and that, unlike the Sumerian divinities, she at first had no sphere of responsibilities. The view that there was a Proto-Euphratean substrate language in southern Iraq before Sumerian is not widely accepted by modern Assyriologists. In Sumer, in Sumer, Inanna was hailed as Queen of Heaven in the 3rd millennium BC. In Akkad to the north, she was worshipped later as Ishtar. Ishtar, like Easter, correct? Nimrod is obviously Christmas, but less obvious in that case. In the Sumerian descent of Inanna, when Inanna is challenged at the uttermost gates of the underworld, she replies, "I am Nana, Queen of Heaven, on my way to the east." I am the Queen. Her cult was deeply embedded into Mesopotamia and among the Canaanites to the west. F.F. Bruce describes a transformation from a Venus as a male deity to Ishtar, a female goddess by the Akkadians. He links Ishtar, Tammuz, Inini, Mami, Dingir Mar, Cybele, Agdistis, Pesinuntica, and the Idaean mother to the cult of a great mother goddess. The goddess, the Queen of Heaven, whose worship Jeremiah so vehemently opposed, may have been possibly Astarte. Astarte, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, is the name of a goddess as known from northwestern Semitic regions. Cognate in name, origins and functions with the goddess Ishtar, Mesopotamian text. Another transliteration is Ashtart. Other names from, like a tart, right? Like, I'm calling her a tart to you. Other names from the goddess include Hebrew, blah blah blah, Ugaritic, also Atart and Athtart, Akkadian, and Etruscan tablets, whatever that is, I don't know. There's references in the Hebrew Bible. The Queen of Heaven is mentioned in the Bible and has been associated with a number of different goddesses by different scholars, including Nanat, Astarte, and Ishtar. Ashtoreth, or as a composite figure. The worship of a Queen of Heaven in Hebrew is recorded in the book of Jeremiah in the context of the prophet condemning such religious worship and it being the cause of God declaring that he would remove his people from the land. Seest thou not what they do in the cities of Judah and the streets of Jerusalem? Children gather wood, the fathers light the fire, and the women knead the dough and make cakes of bread for the Queen of Heaven. They pour out drink offerings to other gods to provoke me into anger. They pour out drink offerings to other gods to provoke me to anger. So maybe it's saying the Queen of Heaven is worshipped and should solely be worshipped, because in this it could be suggested that it is referring to the Queen of Heaven and other gods that provoke the anger from God. But in fact, perhaps the Queen of Heaven might be one of, if not the only God that God approves of. Anyway, in Jeremiah 4:15, 18, then all the men who knew that their wives were burning incense to other gods, along with all the other men who were present at the large assembly, and all the people living in Lower and Upper Egypt, said to Jeremiah, "We will not listen to the message you have spoken to us in the name of the Lord. We will certainly do everything we said we would. We will burn incense to the Queen of Heaven, and we will pour out drink offerings to her, just as we and our fathers, our kings and our officials did in the towns of Judah and the streets of Jerusalem. All that time we had plenty of food and we were well off and suffered no harm. But ever since we stopped burning incense to the Queen of Heaven and pouring out drink offerings to her, we had nothing and have been perishing by sword and famine." There was a temple of Yahweh in Egypt at the time, in the 6th, 7th centuries BC, that was central to the Jewish community at Elephantine, in which Yahweh was worshipped in conjunction with the goddess Anath, also named in the temple Papyri as Anath Bethel and Anath Lahu. Anath, I'm gonna check that out as well. I need to. Lots of tabs open right now. Excuse me. The goddess Asherah, Anat, and Astarte first appeared as distinct and separate deities in the tablets discovered in the ruins of library of Ugarit, modern Ras, Shamra, Syria. Some biblical scholars tend to regard these goddesses as one, especially under the title Queen of Heaven. John Day states there is nothing in the first millennium BC text that singles out Asherah as Queen of Heaven or associates her particularly with the heavens at all. F.F. Bruce, an evangelical biblical scholar, differentiates between Astarte and Asherah as two distinct feminine deities. So there's talk of Isis here. I could go into this actually, okay? I mean, you could read this if you want to do, but I'm here to read it for you if you don't like to read. I don't like to read that much either, which is a kind of a crux of mine. Isis was venerated first in Egypt, as per the Greek historian Herodotus, writing in the 5th century BC. Isis was the only goddess worshipped by all Egyptians alike, and whose influence was widespread by that point, that she had become completely syncretic with the great Greek gods Demeter. Syncretic basically means syncretized or the same. Syncretism in religion means the cross comparison between symbolisms, between cosmologies, between everything, energy, as it goes. It is after the conquest of Egypt by Alexander the Great and the Hellenization of the Egyptian culture initiated by Ptolemy Isota that is that one? I don't know. That she eventually became known as Queen of Heaven. Isis was known as Queen of Heaven. That's funny, isn't it? Lucius Apuleius confirms this in Book 11, Chapter 47 of his novel The Golden Ass, in which his character prays to the Queen of Heaven. The goddess herself responds to his prayer, delivering a lengthy monologue in which she explicitly identifies herself both as the Queen of Heaven and Isis. Then, with a weeping countenance, I made this orison to the puissant goddess, saying, O blessed Queen of Heaven. Thus the divine shape breathing out the pleasant spice of fertile Arabia, disdain not with her divine voice to utter these words unto me. Behold, Lucius, I am come. Thy weeping and prayers have moved me to succour thee. I am she that is natural mother of all things, mistress and governess of all the elements, the initial progeny of worlds, chief of powers divine, Queen of Heaven, and the Egyptians, which are excellent in all kind of ancient doctrine, and by their proper ceremonies accustomed to worship me, do call me Queen Isis. Interesting. So that's the Queen of Heaven. That's the Queen that lives in heaven. The Queen that lives in heaven. So why did I pick places in South America to Venezuela and Yucatan, Maya? Why did I do that? I don't know, it was random. But random supposedly is a incredible divination tool. So, read about it. Divination, and don't trust all the superficial shit sandwiches you get served, because the truth is muddied exponentially when the people who don't like the truth get hold of it. Get a hold on it, because you can only stand in truth. People who stand on truth or with truth, those aren't people who respect truth, and they'll do anything with the truth to muddy it and create a contract between you and your own fear paradigm. But fancy words, big words, maybe not. Everything's a fucking word. Everything's semantics. Ultimately, it's not like the cave paintings. It's not like the cavemen were scrolling on walls, and all of a sudden, he was like, "Oh, fucking Bob's getting a bit deep. He's drawing a fucking deer instead of an elk." It's like, no, because semantics is everything, and ultimately, to say something that is novel in a succinct way could sound pretentious, but we're at risk at that all the time. So don't beat yourself up, or don't slander others for doing so. because most people like it. You'll find. Anyways, so next one. Next, reverse speech. Okay. What have we got? What are we doing? One special Libra. That's the one. One special Libra. No. Wait, is it? One sec. Army in love with snow. One super Libra. One super Libra. That's the one. Sorry. One super Libra. Army in love with snow. Army in love with snow. One super Libra. Army in love with snow. One super Libra. I knew a super Libra. She was a soulmate of mine, being that I am an Aries. She was opposite me on the zodiac wheel, which means, you know, opposites attract, magnetism, right? A soulmate of mine is a Libra. No, don't speak to her anymore. But there was definitely something there which was prominent enough for me to say that we were soulmates. I don't mean soulmates like wishy-washy, lovey-dovey, although the dove comes into it. I'm just trying to say that there was a soul contract between us, that our arrival in this world was from the same doorway of some sort. And that's why I spoke of one super Libra, because she is a super Libra for sure. But the flip side of that is Army in love with snow. Armies in love with snow. And that got me thinking. I was like, well, what is snow? Armies in love with snow, like winter? Like the invernal? The winter? Are we talking about Christmas? Army in love with Christmas? What does an army have to do with Christmas? No one fights battles on Christmas. There's always a ceasefire. There's always a white flag on Christmas. So what is it talking about? Oh, snow, ice, motherfucking. Excuse my language. Excuse my French. Enchanté. Snow, cocaine. Okay, Army's in love with cocaine. Of course. I mean, if you think about it, if you look just in our near history, we've got the Germans being given methamphetamine. We got Russians being given drugs. We've got all sorts of performance enhancing components. Wait, what? Not components. What am I trying to say? Compounds used for the purpose of war. So let me talk about cocaine dependence, because if we have an army in love with snow, then we have zombies. We have zombies who do what they're told, and that's it. They don't do much else other than do what they're told. Why? Because they have an addiction, they have a dependence on one thing: cocaine. And it works the same in any respect. You know, if it's something that you need that wasn't previously a need, like for instance, water gets no enemy. Fela Kuti said that. It's a song by Fela Kuti. Water gets no enemy. Everyone needs water, right? If you can control the water, you control the world. That's why it's said in Django. Not Django. What is it? Rango. Rango. If you control the water, you control the people. Correct? If you control the water, blah blah blah. Without it, there's nothing but dust and decay, but with water, there's life. That's the immutable law of the desert. You control the water, and you control everything. So basically, when people have a dependence, that's when they have waters. They need water, right? They need it. Because water is a need, is a necessity. So, when people have the dependencies, they have water. They need what they need, essentially. New waters that are more essential than the normal water, really. Anyway, let's talk about cocaine dependence, shall we? Cocaine dependence is a neurological disorder that is characterized by withdrawal symptoms upon cessation from cocaine use. It also often coincides with cocaine addiction, which is a biopsychological disorder characterized by persistent use of cocaine and or crack despite substantial harm and adverse consequences. The Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, 5th, blah blah blah, classifies problematic cocaine use as a stimulant use disorder. The International Classification of Diseases includes cocaine dependence as a classification diagnosis under disorders due to use of cocaine. The use of cocaine creates euphoria and high amounts of energy. If taken in large doses, it is possible to cause mood swings, paranoia, insomnia, psychosis, high blood pressure, a fast heart rate, panic attacks, cognitive impairments, and drastic changes in personality. Cocaine overdose may result in cardiovascular and brain damage, such as constricting blood vessels in the brain, causing strokes, and constricting arteries in the heart, causing heart attacks. The symptoms of cocaine withdrawal range from moderate to severe: dysphoria, depression, anxiety, decreased libido, psychological and physical weakness, pain, and compulsive cravings. So, like I said, I don't want to go all into this because I don't need to talk about a wiki article on cocaine dependence. What I'm saying is that with that withdrawal, that moderate to severe withdrawal, is the hook that's in you, the hook that pulls you along, and you have no control. You have no control because it is a necessity. You are simply a dust particle in a stream of water, having to go the path of least resistance. And if you have a water, like I said, if you have a dependence, if you have a water, then you are controllable, and you will join the army of zombies that basically tell you that you should fear, and that you shouldn't ask questions. You shouldn't consider yourself a sovereign being, when that is completely wrong. Completely wrong. Okay, so I'm done with that one. Herbie love with snow. Herbie love with snow. One Super Libra. My Super Libra once gave me snow. Oops. And luckily I didn't gain a dependence on it. But anyways, let's do a different one. Temporal shadows are a real phenomena witnessed by many. When I'm on the flavors, they're not sure of me. Ain't that sweet? Bitter. Yeah, bitter, I bit him too. Bittersweet memories end on a sour note. You have great taste in furniture. Its words had a little bite to them. You've given me something to chew on. He found her behaviour unpalatable. Give me a little sugar, honey. A spicy new outfit. Her presentation was a little bland. We do vanilla. It's vanilla. Everything's vanilla, you know what I'm saying? The vanilla tyranny. It's the coddle culture. You know? The vanilla tyranny. Why do I say that? Well, because people don't like the truth. They like to have opinions on things. Even though, if everything was an opinion, then is my asserting that fact an opinion or not? If everything is an opinion, right? then how is that an opinion? What I just said, is that an opinion? Essentially, if everything is subjective, then how is me calling something subjective still subjective? It's not. It's objective. Anyways, I have to pause for now. Hold up. Sorry about that little intermission, folks. Where was I? Yine mi yapsın? When I'm on the flavors, I sure mess. Temporal shadows are a real phenomena witnessed by many. When I'm on the flavors, I sure mess. When I'm on the flavors, they're not sure me. Essentially, I would very commonly refer to flavors to help categorize natural law, to help let's say help it digest, to help it be a bit more palatable as well. And the reason for this is because I like natural law, and I think natural law is a important paradigm that needs to be reinitiated, to be revived, let's say. So yeah, where was I? Yeah, that's it basically. I want to explain temporal shadows though. That's what. Temporal shadows are a real phenomena witnessed by. Temporal shadows are a real phenomena witnessed by many. Okay, so temporal shadows. This is kind of hard to describe, but what it refers to is the it's like synchronicity. It's like a synchronicity, but it's more like, for instance, the animals in your immediate environment, your pets, your domesticated animals, them being fragments of your higher self that is currently living outside of you but is asleep. So yes, I know that sounds absolutely crazy, but essentially the animals in your immediate environment, and specifically your domestic animals, are literally fragments of your higher self, as you are a fragment of your higher self also, in the flesh at least. And the idea is, you have been divided into these forms to gain more love, to bring more to yourself while asleep. So that's the theory, and that's why I've mentioned it as a reverse speech. I didn't know it was going to be an interesting one with such a clear example. When I'm on the flavors, they're not sure of me. When I'm on the flavors, they're not sure of me. You know, people who know me and who know my work will be able to relate to what I've just said, and what this is trying to tell you. When I'm on the flavors, they're not showing me, because I use flavors. I talk about flavors all the time. I talk about how bland is like savory, and sweet is like the coddle culture, is the vanilla-ness of things. The bitterness is worse than spicy, let's say. Things like this. Sourness is overbearingness, it's a control. different things like this. And essentially, that's what the reverse speech is trying to tell us, is that when I'm on the flavors, they're not showing me because they don't understand metaphor, even though it was taught to them in English class. So that's it for today. I'm gonna look into Venus. I'm gonna look into Hana. I'm gonna look into Anana again, even though I already have, and maybe an art as well. And I'm gonna listen to some music and maybe watch a film. So you know, I'm a normal person. I'm not entirely crazy. Let's say I'm not. I don't think this is crazy. I'm just trying to relate to the people who are very far across the pond from this. Not literally. I'm just using a stupid analogy to in a different way. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, folks. Mess around with reverse speech yourself, and I'd like you to check out a friend of mine, in a fellow truth seeker, by the name of Zeus, and this is his channel. And I want you to check him out because his reverse speeches are absolutely insane, and they're, well, not insane, not literally. I just mean very, very good, very good. And you can check out this most recent video called "You Think It's a Joke? Keep Laughing Until You Expire." So yeah, this is what inspired this video. His work on YouTube. I've been trying to revive this channel for quite some time, but I hadn't really had the initiative or the ambition. So yeah, stay real and look deeper. Until next time.